What is sensory processing? Does my child have a sensory processing disorder? Does your little one hate loud noises and gets upset in busy places? Or maybe they can't sit still and always fidget. Perhaps they only eat one type of food all the time? Find out what is sensory processing and how to help your child if they have a sensory processing disorder. In this video, I will tell you what is sensory processing and sensory processing disorder, what are the signs and symptoms and types of it, and how you can help your child. What is sensory processing? Sensory processing is the way we react or respond to what our senses notice and experience, called processing. It happens to everyone all the time, all day long. The way we see, hear, smell, taste, feel, and touch things might be different from someone else's experience. Sensations might come from the external environment, from outside of our bodies, noise in a busy place, smelly food, etc., or from the internal environment, from within our bodies, telling us how we feel, being uncomfortable in a chair, wearing clothes that are too tight, etc. We might ignore these sensations, or they might affect us and cause discomfort. On the other hand, there might be sensory experiences that give us pleasure or help to calm us down. A person might like hugs, for example, because they feel nice and help them to calm down. Patterns of sensory processing are created by the relationship between how the nervous system operates and the strategies that are used to self-regulate. If sensory information is not processed smoothly, there might be issues with sensory processing which will result in problems and cause your child to be distracted, upset, uncomfortable, or confused. Types of sensory processing. Sensory seeking, obtaining pleasure from sensations in everyday life, for example noticing strong smells, a need to touch everything, or creating sounds with your mouth for the auditory experience. This happens when a person creates a sensory experience for themselves. Sensory avoiding, withdrawing from a situation where the sensory experience is unpleasant and causing discomfort. A person may have a low threshold or tolerance for certain experiences and feel overwhelmed, for example they might be bothered by loud noise, or avoid eating certain foods. Sensory sensitivity, easily detecting and reacting to, rather than withdrawing from, situations where the sensory input is causing distress, for example covering their ears when hearing a loud noise. A child might react with a meltdown, screaming, or aggression when triggered. Low registration, failing to notice what other people notice easily. A child needs to be touched to get their attention despite calling their name. Most people will have moderate responses to what their senses experience. When these responses are extreme, then sensory processing will start interfering with daily life and becomes a sensory processing disorder. What is a sensory processing disorder? Sensory processing disorder is a condition that makes someone experience greater sensitivity to how smoothly sensory information is processed. It is currently not recognized as a separate diagnosis, at least in the UK. It might be a part of ASD, autistic spectrum disorder, ADHD, or developmental and learning disabilities, or it may stand on its own. It is common, however, that people with these disabilities have more intense and distinctive patterns of sensory processing than others. Symptoms of sensory processing disorder. Here are the symptoms or examples of sensory processing disorder organized by senses. Your child might be highly and overly sensitive or have low sensitivity to a certain experience. You have to try and become a detective and notice repeating patterns and reactions to sensory experiences. Hearing. High sensitivity. They might dislike loud noises, or experience normal volume as very loud. They might be easily startled. They may talk loudly. They might get anxious before the expected loud noise, an alarm for example, or a bell in school. Low sensitivity. They might enjoy loud noises and always try to raise the volume when watching TV or listening to music. High sensitivity. They might dislike bright light and prefer a dark environment. They might get distracted by visual information. Low sensitivity. They might like bright light, reflective light, spinning or flashing light. It might take more visual information for them to react. Taste. High sensitivity. They might dislike strong tastes and only like bland food, usually the same food. They might taste objects, for example, clothes. They might like it if the food's temperature is always the same, or like the food always very hot, or very cold. They gag if they try a new food, or even look at it, or think about it. Low sensitivity. They might eat non-food items. They might have lots of hard and crunchy food in their diet. They might crave strong tastes. Smell. High sensitivity. They might like to smell objects or people. They might overreact to new smells. Low sensitivity. They might be underreacting to new smells. Touch. High sensitivity. They might dislike or really like messy play, slime, paint, shaving foam, mud. They might only like certain textures of clothing. They might avoid touch. They might love or hate hugs. They might react aggressively to touch. They might be sensitive to temperature and pain. Low sensitivity. They might be fast but not necessarily well coordinated. They might take risks. They might choose running always rather than walking. They might be always fidgeting or tapping. They might be always on the go and find it difficult to sit still. Body awareness. High sensitivity. They might try to avoid or exit crowded spaces. They might try to create their own boundaries, deciding where to stand or go, for example in the school line. They might not like it if others are too close. Low sensitivity. They might bump into others often or trip over things or people. They might choose to stand too close to others. They might need to look at their feet when going down the stairs. They might choose to stay in tight spaces or in the corners of the room. What can you do to help? What to do about sensory processing issues will depend on what type of sense it involves. If your child is oversensitive or perhaps tries to look for more input, and how much it interferes with your child's daily life and those around them. I found these 4 strategies helpful, and you may want to use them too. They are avoid, minimize, calm down, and exit. Avoid. If you know your child's patterns and triggers, you may want to try to avoid the situation that might cause distress if possible. For example, if your child dislikes loud noises and busy places, you may want to choose not to make him go to a busy shopping center. Minimize. You may want to try to minimize the impact that the sensory input will have on your child. For example, you may remove labels and clothes tags if your child is sensitive to them. Calm down. You may use calming techniques or objects if your child is already in distress. It might be by getting a drink, doing exercise, or deep breathing. Exit. If you are in a situation where your child is uncomfortable and over or understimulated, you may leave, if possible, rather than putting them through a stressful experience. What else can you do? As a parent, carer or teacher, you can also do so much by staying calm. If you are calm, your child will calm down faster. Remember also to avoid stimulation that is not necessary and may overload them. Keep things simple. Try and minimize the clutter in your home and your child's space. You may want to find a space or a corner where they can always go and calm down. Another good idea is using timetables and visuals, which will let your child know what to expect and may reduce their anxiety about unexpected experiences. I hope you find this video helpful, and let me know in the comments if you have any questions. Below you will find more ideas, tools, and advice for specific sensory processing issues. These activities or tools can be used to stimulate or calm your child. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you soon.